Welcome to episode 152 of the Concealed Taco Dudes podcast. Woo!
I like how we've omitted the weekly part.
Yeah.
We're still doing pretty good.
It's almost weekly.
It's almost weekly.
Yes.
But it's tough. I don't think people understand how much time this takes.
How tough it is to...
And to get everyone together. That's why it's mostly you and me all the time.
Yeah. We do need to try and see if we could get Stan and Carl.
For sure.
Nail them down.
Yeah. And I think Officer John might be in town during the Christmas break. So that would be cool to get a good group together and kick some topics around.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Well, today, as you might have guessed, it's just me, Taco, and
Jason with Concealment Solutions.
And this is another lunchtime episode, so it may end up being a little bit shorter. Let's go ahead and knock out our sponsors real fast.
Okay.
NOEbulletmolds.com, finest bullet makers in the world. The universe.
Yeah.
And
he's just been posting a lot on social media
on
lately.
Instagram, yeah.
Which I think is cool.
He has that casting room that has this, what is it? It's like a commercial ventilation system in there. It's like really
I've been thinking I need to go try it out someday.
Yeah, if you saw my last little Instagram post with the flashy lights and cast bullets, that was in the NOE casting room.
The casting studio?
Yeah, I hauled a bunch of stuff over and set up on the other side so that, I could cast in this winter without leaving my garage door open and freezing out my house is poorly insulated, so if I let all that cold air into the garage, it just
sucks the heat out of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyways. So
NOE Bullet Molds.
Use coupon code FLT001 and it'll save you some bucks.
Yep. Utah Air Guns at utahairguns.com. I love air guns.
Yes.
Everybody who shoots air guns loves air guns. I have customers, I always send people over there because they're just, a mile and a half down the street from my shop.
Oh, yeah.
And we get talking and I might have one sitting out and be like, dude, you got to go try it. And some people are like, no. I'm like, no, really, they're cool.
No.
He's like, no, I know. I'm not going to go in there because I don't need another hobby or another type of firearm, So, but it's true. When we all went in the first time and shot on their range, we were like, there's no way I would spend that much on a gun.
All you have to do is put your hands on one.
Spend a little bit of time with it, and then all of a sudden, they're really easy to justify.
Yeah, then all of a sudden it makes more sense. You're like, okay, I can see that.
You know what? They really do, not just from just being fun and having more places that you can shoot, because, if you've got a little bit of space, they're safe to shoot in different areas where a center fire, even a rim fire, wouldn't be. But I think they have a huge role to play in preparedness. It's just one more platform that can do a lot for you without having to have powder and primers and ammo and stuff like that.
Powder and primers, yeah. And with the fact that NOE makes those bullet molds for the pellets and the slugs, then that's a preparedness factor also. Because because even if you get one of those hand pumps, you could use a hand pump to pressurize the guns, the air guns, and then you have basically you can shoot as long as you have lead. Yeah. And if you collected a lot of lead, a little bit of lead goes a long ways with the air gun.
Yeah. I'm thinking if you are somebody that has property somewhere, a cabin or something like that, you ought to have an air gun and a tank sitting there.
Just sitting there?
Because that's your bug out, right? That's where you're going if things really get bad. And having something like that, you could take game with food and stuff like that quietly. So if there's zombies everywhere.
I hear you.
But anyway, go check out Utah Air Guns. Their stuff is awesome. Use the code AirCandy when you check out. You'll get free shipping and free turret stickers.
Yeah. BlackIceCoatings.com.
I was there recently.
Gun, you were supposed to let me know.
I know. I totally forgot.
You were supposed to let me know.
I totally forgot. I will
What'd
probably.
You take down there?
That's where I had my dagger sent. So
okay.
that's where I went to pick it up.
Okay, so you picked it up. Just did you take anything to get coated or?
No, but I will probably. In January, I'll have some stuff.
AR?
Probably her AR, and probably have a little bit of work done on this dagger also.
Yeah. The one gun I want to get, I've been thinking about it more and more, is that little 300 Blackout break action.
Oh.
The little CVA that I have that I love. And
oh, yeah.
I've been thinking of just kind of weatherproofing it. So
yeah.
Get just the Teflon on the barrel.
Yeah.
And, barrel in action, I guess. And then get the stock dipped just to have it, because it's a gun I shoot so much, but it's just got that plain black plastic stock, and it's functional, but I want to, for a gun that I shoot that much, I want to give it a little bit more pizzazz.
Yeah.
So.
And that would not be super expensive to do because it's a pretty simple gun.
Yeah, it's just a barrel and then the little action piece, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So I would think that would be pretty easy to get Teflon coated, even if I only did the barrel.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to get the what would you call it, the bolt face or whatever.
Yeah.
On a break action, I don't know what you call that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Anyways, I want to get that coated so that it's just a little bit weather resistant.
Yeah. Keep it in good shape for longer.
Yep.
For sure.
So,
especially with, like you said, how many rounds you put through that thing.
Yeah. So I need to talk to Lee at some point and, take a couple things down there and get them coated with different coatings for different purposes. Teflon for weatherproofing, slickness, and all that stuff.
Yep.
And then the hydro dipping or transfers,
For the coolness factor.
For the coolness factor. Give it a little pizzazz.
Yep,
if your gun lacks soul or pizzazz...
Yes.
You can
Black ice coating can inject soul into your lifeless gun.
Yes,
for sure. Yeah, go check them out and call up Lee and the girls there and tell them you want it slickery.
Yes, indeed.
Mag holder at magholder.com. They've got double stack 45 and 10 millimeter mag holders now.
Do you have one?
Yeah. I do. I have one for the not the M&P, the XDM.
The XDM.
Yeah, 10 millimeter.
Sometime we need to have a 10 millimeter day.
I know.
And
we keep talking about that.
Yeah.
With all the snow, I don't know when it's going to happen.
Yeah, because we can't do it in the snow because I don't want to be digging in the snow to pick up the brass.
That and potentially being stuck.
Oh, I'm not worried about getting stuck.
No?
No. I don't get stuck in my truck.
Oh, yeah. I don't imagine I would either, but...
But the thing I'm worried about is the brass, because 10 millimeter brass, you don't want to lose that.
No.
That stuff is valuable.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we'll have to wait till there's no snow, or we have a big warm wind come in and melt it all and get it all sloshy and
so
muddy.
It's nice and gooey.
Then I'd worry about getting stuck.
Yeah.
But not with the snow and the ground's frozen.
Right. So go check out Mag Holder. If you're looking for last minute gift items, they've got a lot of branded stuff.
The
gun
belts.
Cleaning mats, belts. I think he's got a knife, and I think I just saw a post where they're doing glasses now. I don't know if they're shooting glasses or if they're just sunglasses, but anyway, kind of cool, fun stuff from Mag Holder. So go check them out. Use the code GETINTHEVAN. I have candy, and you'll save a ton of money. So go check them out. And then Concealment Solutions at concealmentsolutions.com. If you aren't following us on social media, you don't know about all the cool new colors and patterns of Kydex that we are now stocking. So go check them out. I've been stocking I call it Ghost Flame, but it looks more like smoke, kind of wispy.
Oh, yeah.
I really like it. It's one of my favorite patterns, and we have it. I've been doing it in like a tan, red, so it does look like flame or orange, blue, and a zombie green, and we just added pink, and the pink is actually really cool. In fact, I've been making a few holsters for that in that pink, and then we have the Deadpool riding a unicorn pattern.
I saw that, and I need to use that somehow. I don't know what would be the appropriate.
I've been surprised at how popular that was. Yeah. I'm like, really?
Yeah, you're gonna have to make sure you order more of that stuff.
I've got more in stock. So those, if you look at our social media, those are some of the new colors that we are trying to keep in stock. So depending on how crazy people go, it'll be there or not.
You know what would have been funny to do is to make Owl's holster out of that. Just as a
as a joke,
yeah, kind of. But then and then you could list that one on your website for a dagger.
That would have been funny.
Yeah, he would have been like, what is this crap?
What in the world? Yeah.
If you could imagine, like, Al. Like, yeah.
Al, I think just so you guys know, Al, kind of old school, kind of has the John Wayne vibe. He's always wearing that vest and has got that bandana around his neck and his jeans and the big mustache.
And he's a big man, too.
He is. He's a big guy. So the Deadpool riding a unicorn.
That would be just... Yeah, that'd be funny. So.
That would be funny. Also, so dagger holsters are shipping. A lot of people, they'll fit a Glock holster, and they kind of do. But
get one that's
actually made for it, and you will be happier.
Yeah.
So
I'll throw this out there. I got my dagger holster from them, and I like it. I need to. Man, it's just been so cold.
I know.
I want to take that out and then do some practice drawing and firing.
Yeah.
Like, take a few shots, draw a fire.
Yeah.
And just run that dagger through a few more paces.
Yeah.
I think I'm up to 900 rounds for it. I don't
nice.
know. 9 or
pushing 1,000.
Pushing 1,000.
No issues.
No issues.
Nice.
And I mean, I've talked about it before, but I even put my junk 9 through it.
Yeah.
All the random reloads that it's like the only one left, or there's 2 of them left of that reload, and some really lightweight high velocity and some heavy and just weird random shapes that I ended up not liking as much, and so I just didn't make any more ammo of that.
Right.
I just loaded up a couple magazines and just pop. I could feel the difference when it was firing.
The recoil is different every time.
Recoil, and you could tell when it was the lightweight bullets, it didn't, really kick as much, and you could tell, and it was faster, higher velocity.
Right.
But it just chewed through everything.
Nice.
So it's got me thinking of I don't know, just
I
playing around with it more.
Going through my email this morning, they had that deal for the compact lower and a complete. So you just add a slide to it and you're ready to go. Coupled with a stripped AR lower for $100. I'm like, quit sending me this.
Yeah, it was $100
for both of them.
For both, and my friend even sent that to me. I'm like, I do not need, because that would count for 2 net new guns for me. I do not need any more. I'm in the panic mode of trying to get rid of a few before the end of the year so I can meet my goal of net 6, but I'm at net 10 right now.
Yeah. I'm trying to convince my daughter, who just turned 19, to go shoot a match with me. Just the fun shoots that they do twice a month. And she's like, I shoot rifles. And I'm like, you don't really shoot anything because I don't take you, but... that'd be fun. I'm like, no, and I'm explaining it to her, and she came by the shop she brought
Which daughter?
This is my youngest daughter.
The younger one.
Yeah.
She's still in high school?
No, she just turned 19.
Oh, dang, kids are growing up fast.
I know. But anyway, so I have my laser trainer in my P226 and with my little reactive targets, and so I'm like, here, and so we were doing some things. See, I can't hit anything, and in 5 minutes she was hitting almost everything, just playing around in the shop. I'm like, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And I'll take them out, and my son will probably want to be involved as well.
Mm-hmm.
A 13-year-old. I'll take them out when the weather gets a little bit better, and we can set up some stuff where they can kind of move and shoot and kind of set up give them an experience what shooting a stage at a match would be like, so that they're not surprised by it.
Have you thought about adding not like you would need it, but I guess like a brake for your dagger?
A muzzle brake?
Yes.
Thought about it. I've looked at them. Because that's kind of the purpose.
Is this gun going to be more like for competition of concealed carry, like IDPA type stuff, or is it going to be more like
not necessarily
open, where you're going to have like a
because I'm developing some new
so like race gun holster type stuff.
Yeah, like for tactical games and IPSC and 3-gun and stuff like that, where they aren't so particular on the style of holster and being concealed. Are you going to throw a trigger?
Like you need to just take it out and shoot it, so you can understand if you want to change the trigger and what you're going for.
I've shot it. We'll talk about that.
Oh, what we do with guns? Ah, nice.
Anyway, discount code for Concealment Solutions is Show Me the Candy. That will save you 15%. So go check it out. And as always, if you do not see what you're looking for, whether it's a gun model, a Kydex color or pattern, or a holster style, contact me and we can talk about it. We do custom stuff all day long.
Nice. All right, let's go ahead and move into not what we do with guns, but listener feedback.
Listener feedback.
Yes. So we just have one today.
Okay.
And this is...
We're down to one listener?
Yeah, we only have one listener now. If you guys are listening, those other 3, we have 4 listeners, right?
Yeah.
Then make sure if you have a question or comment or, whatever.
Yeah.
Feel free to write into us.
Or ideas for topics.
Yes.
That's always helpful.
concealedtacodudes@gmail.com. So, this one is from Harm, and he says, so many things to comment about. Good topics. And this was the last episode that he's referring to.
Oh.
I've been avoiding that PS... That's so funny. I've been avoiding that PSA 2 for lower deal. Even with free shipping, it's not easy.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, that's so funny that we were talking about it, and more than just us two and my other friend are like, man, Palmetto has us just on edge, like ready to buy.
They're the devil.
Yeah. And he says the 20 practical project should be interesting and sounds like you've got uses for it. Yeah, and for those of you who missed last episode where I was talking about it, it is, so 20 practical is a neck down 223 to 20 cal. It's kind of like a 204 Ruger, but a little bit shorter. You can basically get some really high velocities with the 20 cal, like lightweight projectile. It's a Varminter cartridge. And it just totally made sense to do it in the Ruger American that takes AR-15 mags.
Right,
so that's the project.
And so this, I'm assuming, bullet size sits between a 17 and a 22?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So bullet sizes and weights are going to be
what advantage does it give you over a 17?
Just a little bit more mass.
Okay.
So it hits
a little harder. A little heavier bullet.
Yeah. Okay. So the lighter weight you go, it seems like the wind will
for sure. We see that
around.
We see that with the air guns a lot. The wind is a major factor.
And one interesting thing too is depending on where. Okay, so I went on the squirrel hunt last year.
Right.
And ground squirrel, and there was some tall grass in this one area, and the tall grass deflected some of my bullets.
Oh, with the 17.
With the 17.
Interesting.
It sounds like nah, that wouldn't happen, but yeah, it did.
Interesting.
And so you're shooting at a little bit longer distance.
I mean, it makes sense that even something small like that is going to make for at least a little deviation with a lightweight bullet like that.
And so, I mean, if you were to shoot a 45-70 through the grass probably wouldn't do anything. It would just plow a hole right through everything, right?
Right.
So that's where the little bit heavier bullet comes in handy, but also the fact that 204 Ruger's a kind of a main varmint or cartridge right now, then the people who reload for that, there's 20 cal bullets and stuff.
And it's a center fire instead of
center fire instead of rim fire.
Right.
And it really gets trucking fast, faster than a 17 HMR. And
wow.
Yeah, I think it was between 3,600 feet per second and 4,200.
Holy cow!
Depending on the load. So
that's really
when you're looking at that, then it's holy crap! It's like a kind of what you would use a 22-250 for, but it's a smaller case, more efficient on capacity, and won't heat up your barrel quite as fast.
And you can get it in something that takes AR mags.
So nice. Okay. Yeah, anyways. And he also says, Hearing the news stories regarding people standing up for themselves, taking their welfare into their own hands, definitely some positive influences out there. Whole lot of discussion to be had around the topic and the way the system is being utilized lately.
Yeah.
So it's very true. It's kind of interesting. There's some weird things at work these days where it feels like the middle class is under attack, like financially, and just the common man, common citizen is just being attacked, bulldozed economically, financially, and then just, freedom of speech, every right guaranteed in the Constitution is kind of being attacked right now.
Yeah. Let's do a news story.
And now, the news.
So, this one, kind of piggybacking on what we talked about last time a little bit. 2 members of an armed robbery crew were shot by a concealed carry holder, and a 3rd member of the team suffered a broken leg after they committed a series of holdups in Wicker Park on Monday morning, according to Chicago Police Department sources.
So this is in Chicago?
This is in Chicago. Notoriously just gun unfriendly.
Well, gun friendly for if you're a criminal.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. But in recent years, things have changed. You can actually get a concealed carry permit in Chicago now.
Yeah.
And things like that. So
people are fighting back.
Yeah. At least one other carload of robbers was also robbing victims in the same area as the spree progressed between about 5:30 and 6:30 this morning. At least 9 people were robbed during Monday's wave of holdups. Similar robbery sprees have left about 40 victims in their wake across the near west and north sides since Friday.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Wait till we get into some details. The robberies began about 5:25 a.m., and I'm thinking, who's up at 5:25 a.m. to be robbed? People going to work, I guess.
Always be at nighttime, not in the morning.
Yeah.
These criminals are just starting early.
I guess.
Putting in a full day's work.
Pulling a full day's work. I get, because they're like in this park robbing people. All I can figure is it's business type people on their way to work.
Yeah.
Which, get a real job. If you have to be there at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, that's not worth it. Anyway.
Says the guy who can go into work whenever he wants.
I got in at 9:30 this morning. Anyway, the robberies began around 5:25 a.m. when 3 men stepped out of a black sedan and robbed a woman at gunpoint. 6 more robberies followed, the crews traveling in a stolen Kia and a second car, possibly an Audi. So here's some details on a few of these robberies. 4 gunmen robbed a man in the 1600 block of North Damon around 5:25, taking his wallet and power tools.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Especially if
that's how he's making his living. It's exactly what it is. They fled in a gray car that had a trash bag over a broken rear side window. I wonder how the window got broke. 3 men emerged. This is another one. 3 men emerged from the same car and robbed a woman at gunpoint in the 1600 block of North Hermitage Road at 5:28 p.m. That's 3 minutes difference.
Dang.
Next one. 3 men emerged from a gray car and robbed a group of people at a bus stop on the corner of Ashland and North Avenues around 5:25 a.m. 2 of those victims, both women, called the police after they arrived at work in the West Loop. So they're probably taking their phones, too.
Yeah.
Next one. Another victim was robbed at gunpoint in the 2200 block of North Milwaukee in Logan Square around 5:39 a.m.
So is it the same crew that's just driving around? There's two crews, and they're just wreaking havoc.
Yeah. A delivery driver was robbed outside his work location in the 600 block of Northwestern Avenue at 5:43 by 4 men. 2 people were robbed outside their office in the 2000 block of North Milwaukee around 5:46. So the first one was at 5:25. By 5:46, we have, I didn't count, but at least 8 victims.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah. Then, this is where it gets good. At 5:53, the stolen Kia that was used in some of the robberies rolled up on a man who was inside his vehicle on the 4700 block of West Arthington in the Austin neighborhood. 3 men got out, and one of them...
Oh, I read this story.
Did you?
Yeah.
3 men got out. One of them pointed a firearm at the man while demanding his belongings, according to a Chicago police statement. The would-be victim, that's critical.
Yeah, would-be. He was not a victim.
Who is a licensed concealed carry holder, drew his weapon and fired several rounds, striking the driver in the getaway car in the temple and another robber in the shoulder, according to police. The stolen car traveled a short distance, then crashed, as it would when you get shot in the temple and you're trying to drive, causing a passenger in its back seat to suffer a broken leg. So
the car...
That was a pretty significant crash if somebody in the car broke their leg from the car crash. A total of 4 suspects are in police custody. All are believed to be male between 15 and 18 years old.
Yeah.
The driver who was shot in the head was in surgery in Mount Sinai Hospital. He was in bad condition, an officer at the shooting scene said. According to police, the person with a broken leg is in fair condition, while the person shot in the shoulder is in critical condition.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if it went through the shoulder and into the chesticle.
Yeah. Even after the concealed carry holder neutralized one carload of suspected robbers, the other carload continued to rob people, according to a source. Around 6:25, the second crew robbed a man at gunpoint in the 1700 block. They took his wallet and then threw his phone at them because they were angry that he was too terrified to remember his PIN number.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So,
oh my goodness.
There was a lot of opportunity for people to stop what was going on. The fact that the guy has a gun pointed at him and he draws and shoots and hits 2 of them.
Yeah.
With good hits.
Yeah. Temple and shoulder.
That's impressive. It made me think, was the gun loaded that they were using to rob people? Was it a real gun?
Well, you think about it, in all those robberies, no one opposed them. No one gave resistance. So they're probably just used to pointing their gun and then getting what they want.
Exactly. And that's the precedent that is set by Chicago because they are so anti-gun that there isn't any resistance to them. And so they can do stuff like this and know that there's not going to be anything anybody else is going to do about it.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking, if somebody's pointing a gun at me, I don't know that I'm going to draw my gun and, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they've got the draw on you, as they say.
Well,
but I wonder if
you're always looking for that opportunity where they're not paying attention.
And
they
that
look
may
away,
have been.
Or you toss your wallet out and they go to pick it up.
And then
you draw.
But I wonder. I would love to talk to that guy and know what really happened, what he was thinking, how everything played out. Because just based on how it's written, it's a scary thing anyway. Mm-hmm. But to draw your weapon and fire on people when they're already pointing a gun at you that you can only assume is loaded and they're ready to go with it. I wonder if maybe it was a fake gun and he noticed that, or like you said, they were distracted by something.
The other thing too, that's just as an kind of an interesting side note to this, as well as other self-defense stories, is that in police shootouts, the amount of rounds that are fired versus the amount of rounds that actually hit the targets, they shoot a lot of rounds and they hit very few.
Right.
Yeah. And so knowing that, then, the adrenaline's up and everything.
Oh, yeah.
If you are practiced with your firearm and have practiced drawing and shooting, you're going to be in a better position than someone who is just waving the gun around and who doesn't actually go to a range and shoot. And
especially if you have the element of surprise.
Yes.
And like you said, these criminals are obviously not expecting any resistance because this is what they do. And in Chicago, there aren't a whole lot of people that are carrying because it's been so taboo forever. And now people are starting to, and we're seeing more and more stories coming out of Chicago like this.
The other thing, too, is situational awareness. This guy who, I guess, kind of got the jump on the bad guys, he could have seen it coming.
True.
And because there have been times where I'm stopped at a stoplight and I could see, shady looking people crossing the street, and I will unholster my gun.
Yeah.
Or I have done before, just to be ready.
Yeah.
And, nothing ever happened. But there's a couple times where I was in Vegas. We were driving home to Utah, and due to construction, there were oh my goodness, like it looks like I went to I don't know. There, the detour routed us to this really crazy sketchy place.
Oh, nice.
Just, I think it was like a homeless encampment and just drug users and. Oh, I'm in, my minivan, like my kids and stuff. So, and in that case, my wife was driving and her eyes got big as saucers. I'm like, do not stop. Just keep going. And I had my handgun, ready just in case. Yeah. Because, it's just situational awareness instead of getting, not pulling or having access to the handgun and then all of a sudden, someone pulling out a gun and trying to carjack our van with kids and So maybe he had that situational awareness.
Very well could have.
But we don't know.
Whatever the case, he did things right, you know.
Yeah.
But talking about, you mentioned practicing and training and drawing and stuff like that, it's important to practice with the gear that you carry with.
Mm-hmm.
So if you carry off body, you better be practicing being able to access that, and if it's sitting on the seat next to you while you're driving, you better practice getting it out and how long it's going to take and maybe rethink about where you're carrying it.
Yeah.
Things like that. You can dry fire practice in your vehicle, You need to make sure you're in a safe place, but, and maybe you aren't even dry firing. Maybe you just practice drawing. It's a good thing to buy a blue gun for your carry gun. And it can be in your holster, and you can practice all that drawing and stuff like that, and gun retention and whatever. But all that stuff is important to practice with and go
for
through.
Sure.
That's like when I did shoot IDPA, I always used the gun that I carried every day in the holster I carried it in every day. So I was inside the waistband where other people are trying to game it. And,
you approach the competition as practice for carry.
Absolutely.
And whereas other people approach the competition as the game,
right?
And the game you want to win.
And that's okay.
And it's okay. Yeah.
You're still getting trigger time, and that trigger time is going to translate. But I think even if the game you play isn't concealed carry focused, you need to take some time to practice with that concealed carry gear.
Yeah.
And figure out whether it's right, whether you're doing it the best way you can.
Yeah, and that's one thing I need to do is, so you have your concealed carry gear, but you also have your clothes, right?
Right.
So I have a new winter coat.
Yeah.
And so I want to, and I've been having plans to carry that dagger as a winter carry outside the waistband, but with that new winter coat. So that's why I've been itching to get out and practice the draw with the winter coat and stuff, because it makes a difference.
You can carry bigger stuff in winter time because I wear a down coat most of the time. You can hide anything under a down coat.
Yeah,
I could have an AR pistol under there and it would be fine. But accessing it, even though you're still outside the waist, it's a little trickier with multiple layers. And so you're right. You got to practice with that.
Okay, let's move on to what we did with guns. Do you want to go first?
I can.
Okay.
We talked about my dagger.
That is a nice case.
It is.
Those daggers that I guess maybe not all of them come with that case, but mine did.
Mine did.
And it's a nice case.
Yeah, I don't regret getting it with the case. So, anyway, it is in completely
OD green?
No, it's sniper green.
Oh, sniper green.
And mine has the milled out slide,
the slide
threaded barrel, suppressor sights, milled slide. I put a Hollow Sun 507C on it. This is the full size as opposed to your compact.
Yeah.
Which I ordered the full size. I was holding out waiting for a deal to come on the full size because
You thought you were going to get Glock 17.
Well, I was
length.
Yeah, that, and this is going to be a little bit more of a competition gun for me. I know that's not what it's made .44 specifically. I don't care. When I was doing IDPA, it was a Glock 19. So anyway, yeah. So then I got it, and I'm looking at it, and I'm going, this doesn't look full size. And I'm like,
it looks a little stubby.
Yeah. So just so you guys know, the full size dagger, the barrel and slide is the exact same length as the compact. What you're getting is 2 extra rounds.
So you're getting kind of like a 19X.
It's exactly what it is. Which I think is a stupid configuration, to be honest.
Until you shoot it.
It shoots great, but if you're gonna have the barrel or the grip length, why not? I don't see any reason not to have the barrel length. But that all being said, had I been paying closer attention and realized that's what it was, that's still the one I would have ordered because those mags fit the sub 2000. So this deal that I got was $410. It came with 10 mags, the case, the threaded barrel, milled slide, all that kind of stuff. So I was pretty happy with it. Now I did take it to the range and shot it.
What's it?
What do you think happened? It didn't go well.
It did or did not?
It did not.
I would think that your red dot's not sighted in.
Well, it wasn't, but that's what I took it there to do, was to sight in the red dot. Apparently, there's 2 different lengths of screws that come with the red dot.
Oh, and you used the short screws?
No, I used the long screws.
Oh, and so it dug in and wouldn't...
And so it fired. In fact, first shot was a bullseye. That I usually sight in.
And then it got all stuck.
At 7 yards, and go from there. No, it fired great. Didn't have, but I'm like, my shot, it just kind of wandered all over the paper. It wasn't bad. Every shot was on paper,
Was it loose?
Yes.
Because you didn't notice it. Come on. Okay.
No,
Wait. No,
in my defense, it wasn't rattly loose.
No, you have no defense. No defense. So, listeners, this is the same guy that when he mounted his scope, it was loose. The scope was loose on his gun.
It wasn't loose until I started to fire and realized I didn't tighten it down. But the screws were tight.
Yeah, we're gonna call it. We're gonna start calling it, me and Stan, pulling adjacent, and that's when you don't mount your optics properly and they just flop around on your gun.
It wasn't that loose, and I'm like, what is going on? And I grabbed it and I'm like, okay, there's a little bit of play. Is that the slide or is that? And so I firmed up the slide and I'm like, okay, the optic is a little bit loose. And I'm like, I can't believe I did that again and didn't tighten the screws all the way down. So I go out to the gun counter. I'm like, can I borrow a?
Yeah, and you try and tighten it, but
it wouldn't tighten. And I'm like, what is going on? They're like, oh, well, they come with different length screws.
Yes.
They're like, you probably need to put the short ones in. I went, oh, crap.
Yeah, and you probably wouldn't want the shortest.
No.
Yeah, so just make sure you're careful. Otherwise, what happens is it will strip the tips of the screws.
Right.
And your optic will go
on.
flying. Right. So be careful about that.
So, I do need to take it back to the range and actually sight it in now. Okay. It shot really well. I was really happy with functionality and how it felt and everything.
You know what I would do?
What?
I would pre-sight it in by matching the iron sights.
Yeah.
So move the red dots because this is set up.
And that's what I did before.
The first time.
I just haven't. I went back to the shop.
Your dot needs to move to the left.
And I know.
That's funny. The first thing I did is I looked through it and lined up the sights. I'm like, it's not sighted.
No, it's not because I haven't tried.
Yeah.
But anyway, happy with it. I think it's going to be a great gun. Just need to get it sighted in.
I was going to ask you, I have all these questions for you, but none of them are relevant because
there wasn't a practical test.
Yeah. So for future, I'm going to ask you what you think of shooting with optics versus not, and shooting from the draw with optics.
Yeah, well, where I'll be shooting it, they're not going to let me draw and shoot because it's an indoor range. But I have played with that on my P365 XL. Mm-hmm. I have the 507K on it, which is the smaller one.
Yeah, that one didn't have the co-witness sights though, and that's a difference that I just kind of wanted to get your opinion on later.
Okay.
But you'll have to put some rounds through it, and kind of mental note of at first, and then after you put a few rounds through it, because my first experiences with the red dot were like kind of like it's too hard to find the
dot. Yeah,
and
I've experienced that with the SIG, and I've shot it a bit, but not a ton. Mm-hmm. And so I don't really carry it that much, just because I'm not as confident with it yet. But
that was with the Golden Gun. What is it? The Glock.
It's a 34.
34. Gen 5.
Right.
Yeah.
And does it have a co-witness?
It does. And
did you feel like you still had to find the dot, or did that help you find it faster?
So I've come up with some things that help me out or have helped me out.
Okay.
And first off is just shooting, as if it's iron sights, and then if you shoot a specific gun enough, then you get comfortable with like a draw and then shoot without getting used to how it fits in your hand and how you angle it and everything, right? The muscle memory. And so if you have that going for you, and you have your sight co-witnessing with your iron sights, then it actually gets really fast.
Okay.
And because I've got to the point where I'm faster using a red dot than sights.
Which makes sense, because every pistol match is like, if you don't have a red dot on it, unless it's one that you can't have one on, everybody's got them.
Yeah.
Because they are fast, but it do take practice. You have to get to it. In my mind, I've never fully understood the reasoning behind co-witnessing, because with like an AR, red dots are awesome.
Yeah.
And they're easy to find, and it's fast, but you also, everything is in a fixed place where you've got your shoulder, your cheek weld.
Yes, 4 points of contact instead of the 2.
Right.
I think that co-witnessing for that is more like if your batteries run out, and then you still need
flip
to use
up your sight.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I still need to see.
It's not really co-witnessing as much as going to a backup plan.
Yeah.
But so I haven't played with it a whole lot as far as that goes. I did put my laser bullet in it, my trainer, in the shop, and played with it a little bit. It doesn't work very well, because there's already a red dot, and it's hard. You almost have to move your head to see where you're hitting. But I'll play with it more.
The other tip I would say is you turn the brightness up.
Yeah.
So if you have like a small, like a 2 MOA dot, if you bump up the brightness, it'll turn into like a 6 MOA dot.
Yeah.
So that also helps, like,
to find it, depending on what you're doing and what.
If you're doing like kind of close up shooting, then having a bigger, brighter dot is nice. If you're plinking out to, like, I don't know,
then it gets. And that's something that I'll play with too, is what, in a low light situation versus full sun outside is going to make a difference on how bright you have it set and stuff like that. Also, the other thing. This is really cool. I finally got my Browning Challenger 2. So this is the gun. This is what I picked up from Antonio months ago.
Oh.
And it didn't have the rear sight. And he was like, I don't even want to worry about it. I just want somebody to buy it as is. And so I traded him holsters, but he gave that to me for $200. And then I found on eBay somebody that was selling a complete slide, a whole trigger assembly, and a whole bunch of other internal parts for $140, I think. And so I bought all that. And I had taken the gun to a new gunsmith because I wanted to see how they were going to be as a gunsmith, since Gene moved, left us hanging.
Gene.
And so I took it to them, and then I brought them the sight. I'm like, here's the rear sight. And they're like, okay. I'm like, you might need to order a screw is all, but I think everything else is there. Didn't hear anything from them. I went in after about a month, and like, haven't had time. And I'm like, okay, safety.
He's trying
to rack the slide when the safety's on.
Wow, that's bizarre.
I know. Anyway, and I'm like, okay, I'm being patient. 4 months went by. Didn't hear a word. So I went in. I'm like, they're like trying to find it. I'm like, they basically forgot about my gun.
Aww.
And so I'm like, I'll just take it. I'll figure it out. And so I went home, cracked open all those spare parts, and I found the screw that they were supposedly waiting for. It took me less than a minute to put the rear sight on, and it's good to go now.
That's awesome. Did you bore sight it?
I have not done anything with it yet, other than I put the rear sight on, and I need to, when I go shoot my dagger again, I'll bring that with me. And yeah,
okay.
I don't have a way to bore sight it, as far as.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So for the listeners who can't see this, there's like a sight, like this piece.
The whole top of the slide is one piece, and that has the rear sight in it. There's one screw.
There's like a screw on the front and on the back.
The one on the back, all that does, that's your height adjustment on the rear sight.
Oh, really? So that's like almost like
just
floating?
Floats.
Oh.
And if you rack that slide, you'll notice that the sight and the whole top of that slide stays fixed while the sides move back and forth.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting.
It is interesting. So in that top sight piece, there's a dovetail.
Yeah.
So in order to adjust the sights, you're going to need to tap.
For windage, yeah.
Yeah, tap it left or right. And I noticed that it's tapped to the left quite
Is it
far.
I haven't even looked at it.
So my guess is that just starting off shooting, it's going to be off a decent amount.
Maybe we'll move it over before I go take it to shoot the first time.
But what I'd recommend doing is throwing a bore sight in.
Okay.
And like a laser bore sighter, and that will allow you to roughly check.
It'll get you close.
It'll get you way closer,
right?
Than just take it to the range, tap it a few times,
right?
And so that's what I would do.
But anyway, that is something I'm super excited about because it's a cool gun.
It's a cool gun.
It predates the Buckmark.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of a unique gun to have.
I ran the serial number, and it was manufactured in 1981. Mm-hmm. So not super old, but old enough. And it's got the magazine releases on the heel of the grip, which is kind of interesting. Didn't have any magazines.
Have you posted a picture on Instagram yet? You should, for the listeners who want to see what we're talking about.
It's really
a picture
cool gun.
with it like just normal, but then lock the slide back, so they can see how skinny that top sight piece is that goes from.
Oh yeah, that is moved to the left quite a bit.
Yeah, so.
Super cool gun. The wood grips are in amazing condition. They have the gold B inlaid into it, so it's even before the Browning logo that we have now with the deer.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
The magazines,
are they expensive?
They were $41 a piece.
Okay. For a 22 magazine, that's pretty bad.
That's pretty bad.
But for a historical gun, it's not bad.
Right. And so I bought a couple of them. I debated on whether I wanted to find original mags, and I just went for the price. It doesn't really matter. So those I think are triple K mags. But anyway, I really like it. I'm super excited about that gun. I like 22s, and that one's got soul.
Yeah, no, that it does. It's got wood grips, metal. Blued, a little bit aged,
little bit of wear on the bluing, but it's not beat up.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was a find. I was happy to come home with. I'm glad I got it back.
Yeah, that's cool. My turn.
Your turn.
All right, so I got that barrel pulled off the 350 Legend.
Okay.
And I got that actually shipped and received by. So I shipped it, but it was received by Kenny, my buddy. Yeah. So now it's in his hands to spin up a barrel and rebarrel it for me. And in the meantime, though, I ended up getting my Black Friday purchase from MDT, and that is the LSS-XL chassis, but it's the AR mag compatible one.
That is a nice looking piece.
Yeah, it looks pretty awesome. I'm going to do, just for those who are like, dang it, Taco, we can't see what you're talking about.
It looks really expensive.
Yeah, it was. It was not cheap, but it wasn't as expensive as it normally is because I got the Black Friday.
I mean, it's all all one piece, right? It's all one milled piece. That's nice. That's really nice.
So, in the meantime, because I don't know how long it'll take to get the barrel.
The barrel.
Yeah, because I think he has to get a 20 practical reamer.
Oh.
And so he'll have to get that either rental or maybe I'll go in on it and pay half and he'll just buy it so he can do more.
Yeah.
But anyways, I don't know how long it'll take him to get that barrel put on and sent back. So I've been debating on putting my Ruger Predator in here.
Oh.
You know, the same one that Stan has, but mine's better.
The 223?
Yeah. This will make it even betterer than Stan's. So
that is nice.
It should be fun, and the cool thing about the chassis is you get that metal to metal contact. Rigid. Accuracy lends itself towards accuracy, or either improving or maintaining accuracy. And then on the stock, you can put like a buffer tube and whatever AR stock, one that you want, a cheek riser or what. So you can set these up to be just like
adjustable length,
exactly how
and
you
all
want.
That kind of stuff.
And get a more vertical AR grip. So I'm seriously tempted to throw it on the Predator, but
why not?
This is the why not, because if I get it set up,
you're gonna have to buy another one.
I might have to buy another one because I won't want to change things with the Ruger if I get it installed and configured perfectly and shooting great and stuff.
True.
So that's the dilemma.
What you could do is take it as it is down to black ice and get it fancied up while you're waiting for the rest of it.
Yeah, but I gotta make sure. I'd probably take the whole gun down.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna make it fancy.
Yeah.
But right now it's just the plain black anodizing or no Cerakote. I think looks like it's probably a Cerakote.
It doesn't look anodized.
Yeah. So, okay, another thing I picked up a couple bags of this 45 Cowboy Colt brass.
Huh.
And it's about the length of a 45 ACP, but it's rimmed, and it's for. I think the guys are using it for the cowboy action shooting.
It looks a little longer than a 45 ACP, but
the case capacity is roughly about the same. So maybe it is a little bit longer with the rim. I don't know. It's really close. Yeah. So, anyways, Al has this new bullet mold that casts. I think it's close to like 300 grains, but it's a super deep hollow point.
Yeah.
And so I guess the guy who designed that one wanted to blast stuff with his Taurus Judge or something, his 410 revolver.
Okay.
And with that extra length in the cylinder, it could accompany that super. I mean, this is a really long 45, deep hollow point bullet.
Huh.
And supposedly the guy loves it and is blasting jugs.
So what are you going to shoot it out of?
So what I want to do, I know that with the Cowboy Colt brass, it will fit. It is shorter than, like, say, a 255 grain regular size 45 Colt bullet with a 45 Colt brass. So I know it's a little bit shorter. What I'm kind of interested in doing is taking. So I want to do that with this brass, but I also want to take those hollow points and throw them in my 460 Magnum. So that has the extended case. And I wonder if it will be too long or be okay in that with regular 45 Colt brass, so I could get it going a little bit faster.
Yeah.
So the guy has a load, I think it was around 700 or 800 feet per second.
Okay.
So it's actually moving pretty good in his little revolver. And
interesting.
So that's something to play with. I also, like I mentioned earlier, I took a casting setup. I took my RCBS Pro Melt, the Gen 1 and little PID, and I set up a casting section at the NOE casting room. And I spent, good 4 hours or something casting a bunch of 45 Colt projectiles.
Okay.
These are a semi-wad cutter. I think I talked about getting the molds a little while ago.
Yeah.
They're 200 grain, and you can actually use these ones in a 45 ACP or 45 Colt.
Okay.
And so they are kind of pretty bullets.
Yeah.
But I was doing some indoor casting when it was snowing outside. It made me feel good.
They're semi-pointy wad cutters.
Yeah, they're semi-wad cutters. But they have a nice little radius on the meat plat, so it gives a little bit of a rounding on the tip. So I want to play around with that bullet. I'm figuring this will be a great dueling tree 45 Colt.
Yeah.
Bullet, something that won't smack it too hard. Yeah. So I'll do a couple different loads, one that smacks it hard and one that doesn't.
Yeah.
And so I'm super excited about trying that out.
Very cool.
And then I just wanted to do a shout out to two of the companies that I recently had good customer service with.
Oh, okay.
And the first one, MTM, and I don't remember if you remember, but I got they sell the ammo.
MTM case guard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So a while back I got that purple case.
Okay.
It's a ammo case, and I started using it for my bunny farts.
Okay.
And like it didn't have a handle.
Huh.
Oh, I can't remember if I broke the handle, lost the handle, or if I bought it at MPS without a handle. So I couldn't remember, but I contacted him. I was like, because I had just done a bunch of 300 blackout loading, so my bunny fart thing was too heavy.
Yeah.
And without the handle is kind of
pointless.
Well, it's just like it's harder to carry.
Yeah.
So I contacted them, and they're like, "Yeah, just let us know which part, like what case you have, and what you need, and we'll send it." And so it was as simple as that.
Wow.
I showed them the model of the ammo can, and then I said I just need a replacement handle, and they got it shipped out. Didn't have to pay for any shipping or anything.
Wow.
So kudos to them.
Very cool.
That was. I always say that gun companies and reloading companies, those gun-related industry, have like the best customer service.
Yeah.
They if anything else could have the same type of customer service, man, life would be just crazy good.
For sure.
So the other company, and this one was a really cool experience, is CMC Triggers.
Okay.
Now I've bought so many of their triggers in the past.
Yeah.
Whether it's helping people upgrade their AR-15s or just getting rid of the mil-spec triggers in my own.
Right.
In my AR-10s and AR-15s. And so I love their triggers. They are clean breaks, light pull, everything. I love them. But recently I got one, and it was not good. Yeah. It had a real gritty pull.
Huh.
And so if I slowly pulled it, I could let go, and it would stay
it would
where
stay?
it was. Yeah.
Oh, that's not good at all.
Right before it'd break. And I thought about just, it's on my AR-10, 16-inch, just kind of more of a blasting gun.
Right.
Maybe I should just deal with it, but I was kind of disappointed. And that one day I was like...
You pay for a good trigger, and it's worse than what a factory one would be.
Well, factory ones are pretty bad. But anyways...
I haven't had that issue. But.
I looked up their website, and the contact information. I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna just call them." And I was expecting to wait on hold and you are caller number 500.
Yeah.
Stay on the line, or whatever. I called. They picked up really quickly, and it was a human voice. And it was a good English speaking person. And so I talked to the guy, and he's like, "Yeah, we can help you out with that." And he told me to email Pam. And so I was like, "Okay, I'll do that." And then I had remembered. I was like, "Oh, while I have you on the phone, there's this trigger I got from you guys it was years ago, and I totally messed it up. It's my fault. It's when I bought their AK Elite trigger. And I was trying to get it to fit in my Vepr. Oh. It's an AK variant. Yeah. And anyways, I started grinding on it, knowing that it would void all warranties, and that it was my fault if it was destroyed. Right. And, I had done... Basically, once I got it to fit inside and everything, I realized that trigger could not work in that gun. Yeah. And so then I was left with
something that won't work in any gun.
Won't work in any gun. And I explained it to him. I was like, it's totally my fault. I know. I just need a new hammer on it. And, if you guys could, help me out with that, then I'll have a functional trigger I could throw in one of my AKs, Yeah. And he said, yeah, just go ahead and, RMA the same way. And, I did it. And anyways, they sent me a complete replacement trigger for the AK trigger.
Wow.
They probably looked at it and they were like, we're not going to mess with that. Just send them this other one.
Yeah.
But anyways, so...
It looks like is it a drop-in?
It is an AK drop-in trigger.
Wow.
But, you gotta... There's a little spring that you gotta...
Sure.
Fit it in and...
Sure.
But yeah, so I got that one and then they got my AR trigger. They replaced the parts and
nice.
And I tested it out already, and it's clean break, light pull, like exactly what I've come to expect from CMC triggers. So
nice.
Thanks,
Very
CMC
cool.
triggers.
Yeah.
And MTM. So
very good.
Yeah, I was really happy about that.
I had a customer, not to pat my own back, but I had a phone rang yesterday, I think it was, and I pick up and the guy's like, man, he's like, this is why I like dealing with you. He's like, every time I call, you answer the phone and you help me.
Isn't that crazy? That like
that shouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah.
I get when you're huge, it's hard to take care of everybody in a timely manner, and I get that.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of companies that aren't huge that won't answer the phone.
Yeah.
Won't
Some of the smaller
emails
companies
and things like that. So.
But I feel like it's important to share positive experiences because everybody is always looking for the little failure that they can throw up on YouTube or Instagram and say, yeah, look at this. This is a brand new P365 and it has this problem. And instead of just calling up the company and say, hey, I'm having this issue. Can you help?
Yeah.
And I've found that...
And then singing their praises when they do.
Yeah. Yeah. But I find that people rarely share the positive experiences.
Yeah, for some reason everyone wants to focus on the negative and tear people down, and I don't get that either.
So that's why I wanted to do this little shout out to those two companies that they helped me out, and I mean, you can see me smiling. I'm like super happy. One, a simple part as dumb as like a handle for my ammo can, right?
Right.
They sent it to me. Now that ammo can is fully functional.
Yeah.
And I like it.
Yeah.
And then the CMC, those guys, it's going to be fun. So.
Yep. Awesome. Well, let's wrap it up. I think
we are out of time.
Yammered long enough.
Lunchtime episode.
Yep. Thanks for listening and subscribing and sharing this podcast with your friends. Make sure, go take somebody shooting. What else do we say?
Stay safe and have fun.
And be nice to people. Are you tired? Work's killing you?
Yeah, I had work. It's like I'm recovering from last week's worth of like late nights because the family, when they're at home when I'm supposed to sleep in to catch up, then it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Stop doing the dishes!